Hey everybody, it's your old pal Steve Moore here, owner of Run More, this fabulous brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. Today we'll be talking about the much ballyhooed Brooks Glycerin Max coming out in fall of 2024. As a Brooks dealer, I would say this shoe has been hyped up more by Brooks than any model that they've carried this year. We had been talking about this shoe all year, hearing snippets about this shoe, been a lot of energy behind this, and very excited. I put a bunch of miles on my pair already, and we've been selling it here in the shop for a couple days, so we have some good feedback and thoughts in it. So let's dive into some of the nitty-gritty specs on the brand new Glycerin Max. This is a $200 super trainer. On the men's side, it weighs 10.5 ounces. On the women's, it's 9.5 ounces. This is a big, beefy stack height shoe with a 45 millimeter drop down to a 39 millimeter. That is a 6 mil drop. This has a synthetic mesh upper and a brand new midsole called the DNA tuned midsole, and it has a quite aggressive glide roll rocker technology. So before we dive a little bit more into our thoughts on the Glycerin Max, just do me a favor and like and subscribe if you haven't already to our channel. It's a free, easy way to support the store. So the Glycerin Max, this $200 beefy everyday trainer. First off, Brooks has been adding some new lines to their category for the past year and just sort of slapping a Max on another existing model of theirs just to confuse things a little bit. But, I think this shoe really should have its own name and its own sort of vibe. Not just because it has a new midsole that I feel like we're going to be seeing a little bit more down the road, but it really doesn't compare to the Glycerin as much as maybe you might think, or maybe Brooks was kind of hoping. I just think they sort of took a shoe that had a lot of street cred and threw another Max on it. And I think it probably would have been better off with just something totally different, because it doesn't necessarily, to me, go in line with that Glycerin feel. The Glycerin feel is a great shoe. It's one of our best shoes here, but that is just like a nice high cushion everyday trainer, where this is now in that super comp category. This is now like a different midsole, a different vibe, different drop, roller technology. It shouldn't really be in that sort of category. But anyway, this is a shoe with a brand new midsole from Brooks. We talk about the DNA tuned midsole. So, they've been using their DNA loft and different variations of it, from stuff like the Ghost to the Glycerin. But this is one that has a little bit more technology behind it, which is one of the reasons why the price point has ballooned so much. This has different, and we don't call it a different density layers, but essentially the pockets inside of their midsole is a little bit more airy through the heel, gives a more plush and soft landing. So it's a little bit just feathery, billowy, airy, fun on the heel, and then it gets denser and tougher and a little bit more stable through the toe. So you have this nice soft landing that aggressively, as you're going through your gait, gets firmer and firmer and firmer to push you through to a smooth toe transition. And if you've been following my channel for a while, I think that's one of the hardest things that brands have to deal with, and not just on super trainers, but on just any oversized max cushion shoe, is having the right blend of landing zones and making sure that we're not too squishy all the way through, or not too firm all the way through. And we have a lot of shoes that we carry here, a lot of stuff that I've run in, where it hasn't quite been perfect. This shoe, while not quite perfect, I thought they did a tremendous job of really feeling that different density as you're going through the shoe. And I will tell you that I've had these for a week now, and I have done shorter stuff, I've done tempo stuff, and I've done a long run in it. So I really have done a little bit of everything in this shoe. And I usually will say this shoe kind of is perfect in this spot. I actually had a good amount of times in a variety of paces, a variety of distances, in a variety of places. I've gone on the track on this, I've gone through neighborhoods through this, I've gone fast, I've gone slow, I've gone up, I've gone down, and I have good experiences with sort of all terrains and all speeds in this shoe. And that always is not the case when it comes to max cushion shoes. And I've even talked about that on some of the other Brooks stuff. We were getting questions already about, okay, so now we have a Ghost Max and we have a Glycerin Max. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? They look kind of similar, but it kind of can get a little bit confusing, and the waters get a little more muddled when you're looking at two shoes that took popular names, threw a Max on it, and pushed them out with a massive stack height, similar drop, similar glide technology to it. Why am I spending an extra $50 here? And I think part of it is the Ghost Max is a true, to me, this is what the Glycerin Max should have been called, because this is a high cushion trainer that is sort of meant to go after some of the big boys on the wall behind me that have a 6 millimeter drop, that are really meant for more of a daily trainer that have some efficiency to it on a maximum platform of cushion, where the Glycerin Max to me is, while I've used it in a variety of paces, I think their goal with this shoe is meant to be more like a high-end, super critical, super comp trainer that will give this to go against some other high price point shoes out there. One of the things that this shoe I think is gonna have a hard time with in the marketplace, I think it's a great shoe. I think people that get it on are gonna very much like it. But this is a $200 trainer that has no plate, that has none of some of the fancy technology that we're seeing from some of the other brands out there, but they have the price point as if it has some of those bells and whistles. So really, if you're Brooks and you're slapping a $200 price point on a shoe that is sort of a whole new concept for you and a whole new midsole, and it doesn't have a plate like some of your competitors, but you priced it as high, if not higher than some of those other ones, like, you better knock it out of the park, because you've really put yourself out there. And I think they did a really good job on it. I mean, yeah, there's a few things I didn't love about the shoe. I don't understand this. I don't know why. We'll get some better shots of it, but giant piece of rubber with the logo on that side, unnecessary in my opinion. Weird thing on this shoe, I don't really get Brooks shoes. I had a little bit of rubbage on the midfoot here. I had to kind of lube my foot up pretty good to get away from that. But overall, it's got a great straight last to it. So if you're somebody who needs a little bit of support, you're gonna be just fine here. It's a massive shoe, but it weighs less than the Ghost Max. It really, for as much stack height, for coming up from 44 millimeters of height here at 10.5 ounces, that's pretty damn good. And really, you could use this for shorter stuff. I did like a pretty great 5-mile tempo run in this shoe. Great. Gone 15 miles on the road in it. Great. Done a little bit of everything and have been happy the whole way through. So I talk a lot about like that one shoe to rule them all. If you're looking for a shoe that you were gonna drop $200 on, but you better damn well be able to take it for an everyday run and have fun, a long run and have fun, and if you wanted to go race it in a marathon, you could do that. And this to me is a shoe that you absolutely could do all 3 different phases of your running in, from like daily stuff to workouts to races. You could make this shoe that. They did a great job of making sure this shoe is versatile enough and not to make apologies of, it's really only meant for a racing shoe. And that's sometimes when you have that kind of super comp shoes and those super critical shoes, is like, it's great in these situations, but maybe not these. But I actually found that in all situations, I very much enjoyed the Glycerin Max. There's a lot of hype behind it, and at least from this broadcaster's opinion, it kind of hit and checked all the boxes that I think Brooks was going for there. And I think this new DNA tuned midsole, we're gonna see this coming from Brooks down the road, and this was their first big foray into that, and they did a really good job. And again, we have a Ghost Max, you have a Glycerin Max, they sound the same, but they really shouldn't live in your closet the same way. I think you're better off as sort of one or the other. And again, if you're just looking for like an everyday trainer, you're not looking to go fast, you're not looking for a racing shoe, you just like to feel just like a nice easy shoe, then there's nothing wrong with the Ghost Max. It's $150, it's high cushion, it's a high mileage shoe, it's great. But if you want to maybe push it and do some performance side while still having the ability to go do some easy long runs in it, I think you might as well spend the $50 and try the new Glycerin Max. That's just my opinion. And I will say the width is great on it, the volume is great on it, which is one of the other things they really wanted to do, is it's gonna fit a variety of shoes. Again, just can't figure out why I was getting a little bit of rubbage here on such a shoe that has such a wide base, and I never get that on Brooks shoes, but I put a little body glide on my foot, it's fine. I feel it's one of those things that in a week I'm not even gonna think about. But out of the box, the only real negative thing I had. If you've got a chance to try the new Glycerin Max, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Leave them down below in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as we can. Hey, and if you wanted to purchase the new Glycerin Max, you can save 10% by buying it from us, entering promo code RUNMORE on the link we have down below. We'll ship it out to you for free as well. And if you're in Westminster, Maryland, why wouldn't you be? Stop by and say hello. There's a good chance you'll catch me while we're here. Happy running. See you around town. Thanks so much for watching.